Bullies. Bullies. That's what we talking about today. Bullies. Let's talk about it. Listen. So let's get right into it. This is a subject that is near and dear to my heart because I'm pretty sure we all have been bullied at some point in our lives. And we all have. Some of us more than others. Some of us may have been the bully, if you will, and didn't know it. So we might be victims, we might be perpetrators, but we all have bullied or have been bullied before. So let's get into the definition of what a bully is. A bully is a blustering, browbeating person, especially one who is habitually cruel, insulting, or threatening to others who are weaker, smaller, or in some way vulnerable. That's the Webster's dictionary. I'm going to flip it a little bit. Especially one who is habitually cruel, insulting, or threatening to others who appear, I think they left that part out, appear to be weaker, smaller, or in some way vulnerable. Bullies. If I call 10 people right now and ask them to give me their bully story, usually it's like junior high, elementary, high school for some folks, even college. But if we go by this definition of what a bully is, we can even go back in our lives to things that are more recent. You could have had a bully boss. You could have had a bully mate. You could have had a emotional bully friend. So bullies come in all types of forms. And so I want to talk about bullies today, but I want to talk about big bullies. Bullies that stood out in our lives. Some public bullies. That's really what I want to talk about today. That's what we're talking about today on Tea Times Tuesdays. I'll let you boy. Tea Time Tuesdays. I'm going to take you back a little bit. If you are under 35, I'm going to say 30. If you're under 30, you probably don't know the bullies I'm about to bring up. Bullies go all the way back to the beginning of times. Adam and Eve had a bully. And it's crazy because that same bully Adam and Eve had, we struggle with till this day. His name is the devil. Now, this ain't no sermon now. I'm just giving you the history of bullying and bullies. When I was growing up, we had a few television shows. I mean, we didn't really have the internet or cell phones, bottled water. So we had to drink out the water hose. We had to be in the house when the street light came on. A, because that's what our parents wanted, and B, so we can go in the house and watch our shows. We didn't have the luxury of having 100 different channels or 100 different 100 different channels or 100 different networks, and on each network you got 100 different selections of shows you can watch, and you can watch them at will, aka Netflix, Hulu, Prime. We didn't have that ability. We were at the control of network television. So if a show came on at 8, you better be in front of that TV at 8. If you got that 8:15, you've missed 15 minutes of the show. Ain't no running it back. Ain't no rewinding. Ain't no TiVo. Ain't no DVR in it. You had to just let somebody else tell you about it. I don't even think they had reruns back then. Did they have reruns? Somebody, I don't know. What I'm simply saying is when they had a show on, you had to be in front of that show. So it took discipline to be in front of that show at that particular time, because you knew that you had to watch that show, because that next day at school or work, whatever it is, whatever your situation is at that time, you would have to hear it from other people. So one of my shows was A Different Strokes. And all of the shows that I liked, all of the movies that I liked, always had a bully in it. And I liked those shows because the victim of the bully was always able to bounce back and turn that thing around. And I like that. I like that underdog story. I love that underdog story. And I like the underdog story because if you were born into a situation where the odds were against you and you came out on the other side, that's an underdog story. I wasn't supposed to make it off my block. Just being real. I wasn't supposed to make it out my neighborhood. But I was able to do that through my parents, my friends, and just God. Because, I mean, I wasn't no special than the person next door. But in my neighborhood, I had bullies. I had bullies, different types of bullies. But my arch nemesis was a brother by the name of Wesley. And we cool now. We even got cooler after we grew up. But and shout out to Wesley if he listened to this. But he was my elementary bully. This brother would beat me up almost every day over the summer. It was one summer, but it felt like an eternity because, A, I was young. And when you're young, a year feels like 5. But when you get older, a year feels like 3 days. Like, wasn't it just Christmas? You know what I'm saying? Like, didn't Trump feel like he just got elected yesterday? Is he about to, being, well, hopefully it won't be in another term, but but anyway, I'm gonna name some popular bullies. Wesley was my bully. He bullied me that whole summer, and my dad gave me the confidence and expressed to me that if you don't face your bullies, you will forever be bullied by someone or something. So he made me face my bully. He didn't make me. He gave me the inspiration or the courage, the wisdom to face my bully. And once I faced Wesley, my bully, I realized that he was human. Right? That's number one. And number two, that I am able to raise my hand victorious to things that are against me. And so are you. So growing up, we had different shows. And I'm going to go through some of the shows that I grew up with and point out the bullies. It was a show by the name of Different Strokes when I was growing up. Arnold Jackson was the star of the show. He had a brother named Willis, a white sister by the name of Jennifer, I think her name was, and a dad by the name of Mr. Drummond. Mr. Drummond was a rich white man that owned half of New York City or something like that. I know he stayed in a penthouse on the top of some high building. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was Trump Towers. I don't know. But he ended up adopting these two young black boys and raised them in this penthouse. They were from the hood, but Mr. Drummond lived in the penthouse in this, rich neighborhood in New York City. So Arnold Drummond had a bully by the name of the Gooch. The Gooch. Gooch. The Gooch. The Gooch didn't even have a name. Like, that's what they call him the entire show. The Gooch. And the Gooch would did they ever even show the Gooch? I don't even know if they even showed the Gooch. But the Gooch would intimidate Arnold on a consistent basis. The Gooch. How many Gooches have you had in your life? That sounds so weird. Yeah, how many Gooches you got? Because for a little bit, Gucci, come on, Jesus, was my bully because I used to spend a lot of money buying Gucci, even though I couldn't afford it at that time, but it made me look good. So I felt victim to the Gooch. Another one of my favorite shows was Good Times. And on Good Times, it was a young lady by the name of Leona Gordon. Oh, I'm taking y'all back right now. Leona Gordon. How many of y'all know who Leona Gordon is? Just raise your hand. I can't see you, but just raise your hand. Make you feel better about yourself. Leona Gordon was Penny Gordon's mother. Leona Gordon was the ultimate bully because she was a child abuser. She abused her daughter whenever her daughter didn't do things that Leona wanted her or felt like Penny should have done, which to me is the ultimate bully, because you are a parent and you're brutally abusing your child for no good reason, because there's not a good reason to ever abuse your child. Now, don't get it twisted. Now, my mama whipped me, but I earned them whippings. But she didn't whip me to the point where I was abused. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this woman was burning the girl and with an iron and broke her arm. It was some brutal episodes to watch, but shout out to the writers of Good Times to even go there at that particular time. Now it's like an everyday thing. I think every other show shows something like that. But back then, they didn't really have shows like that. So shout out to the writers of Good Time for bringing awareness to child abuse. So Leona Gordon was a bully. Bad News. I'm taking y'all back, man. How many of y'all remember Bad News? Bad News was on the same show, which is Good Times, but it was JJ's bully. One of JJ's bully. JJ had a few bullies, but Bad News was the one that stood out to me. Bad News was a pimp gangster that worked for another pimp gangster by the name of Sweet Daddy, aka Sweets. Yeah, I got to go back and watch this stuff, man. This is some classic television. This is like the 70s, I think. I was a kid. Well, I mean, I was a kid watching this stuff, but it wasn't live. It was just repeat. But it was just some great television. But Bad News was JJ's bully. And I realized watching that show with Bad News, not because I watched it again probably about 2 years ago. It came on and I caught it on one of those channels, and I saw it from a different perspective as a grown man now, right? And Bad News was a very violent, angry little man. He was little in stature and in mind too, because to me, all bullies are little mentally. As you can tell, I don't like bullies. I don't. I can't stand bullies. But anyway, Bad News was bad news, and he was big and bad. But he feared Sweet Daddy, which was bigger, who was bigger and badder than he was. So then I realized that bullies respect power. Bullies respect power. Strong people. That's what bullies respect. And that's why if you continually show that you are not going to challenge them, they will continue to bully you. So he was scared of Sweet Daddy, aka Sweets. The names crack me up. But then he tried to undermine Sweets and get Sweets knocked out of his spot so he can be the man. And if you look at news, man, we got some bad news going on right now. We got some bad news going on right now, and the person that this person respects is not even in our country. And the person that this person respects hates our country. And the person that this person respects loves what's going on right now. Loves it. The division, the hate, the house being torn apart. Y'all read between the lines on that. Tea Time Tuesdays. I'll let your boy. But we'll get into that in a minute. Bad News was JJ's bully. Now, one of my favorite characters, because bullies can be funny sometimes too, right? On TV. When you live in it, it's a whole different deal. But one of my favorite characters of all times is Show Nuff. Leroy. Show Nuff was a character from a movie by the name of The Last Dragon, one of my favorite movies. And the main character in The Last Dragon was a black version of Bruce Lee. As a matter of fact, his name was Bruce Leroy. Super creative, I know. So deep. And I promise y'all, this is one of the greatest movies ever written. Why? It's corny now. Very corny, but it's one of the greatest movies to me, because again, it's the victim getting his glow, which is his confidence, to defeat his bully, who has been continually bullying him for a very long time. Like that, those are I love movies like that. I love situations like that. I think that's why I love sports like that, because my Buffalo Bills have been bullied by the Patriots for so long. All my Boston people, whatever. Every year, I'm just hoping my Bills get their glow so they can defeat our bully, which is the Patriots. Now they're gonna do it this year. We do have a season. They're gonna do it this year, but it'll be kind of bittersweet, because now they don't have your boy Brady, and so if we do beat them, it's gonna be, well, because Brady gone, So anyway, shout out to the Dolphins too. I know y'all feel the same way. I'm from Miami, but I've always been a Buffalo Bill fan. So shout out to the Dolphins, because I know y'all feel the same way about them doggone Patriots. Tea Time Tuesday. Shout out to your boy. So sure enough, man, he's one of my favorite bully characters of all time because the Jerry curl was huge, and then he had the man bun. That was the first black man bun I ever seen in my life. And then the brother walked around with samurai pants, and shoulder pads, no shirt, leather cuffs. Walked around New York City like that. Jerry curl, samurai pants, no shirt, shoulder pads. And then you got to top it off with some Converse. Greatest Halloween costume ever. I might do that this year, even though I'll probably be in the house with it, but trick-or-treating COVID-19, you just, anyway. But anyway, Bruce Leroy ended up whooping his enemy and raising his hand victorious because he got the glow and ended up beating Show enough at the end of the movie. And he got the girl. You got that glow and feel that touch. You got the glow, win the glow with the flow. Do boo boo. Show enough was the man. He was funny. He was a character. Kiss my Converse. That was one of his favorite famous lines. Kiss my Converse. That and Who's the Master. So with Show Enough, right? So Show Enough needed people around him to constantly make him feel like he was the man. And so, I mean, if you just listen to his lines, who's the master? And his little flunkies would always say, Show enough. Who's the baddest low down clown around? Show enough. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he always needed reassurance that he was the man. Which now, as I look at the movie, I realize that bullies need two things to fuel them: supporters to make them feel like they're doing a stand-up job, a phenomenal job, even when they're not. They need fear, which is what the supporters give them, because fear to them is respect, right? So the supporters may not fear him. Well, I don't know. Fear and respect, right? They need that. Bullies do. And the fear from their victims. And they also need something to fight for. Even if it's made up in their mind. They need something to fight for. And with most bullies, you really can't change their mind. Like when their mind is made up, that's it. When you consider the enemy, that's it. Like the definition says, they are blustering and browbeating people. They also need to add in there that they're usually narcissistic. Like I'm allergic to people that can't be wrong ever. Like you can never be like, so your name Jesus, you can never be wrong ever. And so to me, Show Enough was like the ultimate bully of kind of what we're going through right now. But the biggest, I don't want to say the baddest, but the biggest bully I've ever witnessed It's by a brother by the name of Donald J. Trump. I respect the seat of the president. I do. I really do. I respect order. I respect discipline. I respect leadership. But when the seat gets taken advantage of, when leadership takes advantage, then I have a problem. I have a problem with it. So let's think about it for a second. Everybody here, everybody listening, I'm sure have had a job at some point. And when you first get on that job, most of the time, your boss is considered cool. Like, because you don't know him yet, or her. You don't know them yet. It's like, hey, they gave me a job, so I'm thankful for this job. And so you go to work the next day and the next day and the next day, and you start to see that your boss is kind of shady and unfair. And then you realize that your boss is a user. Your boss doesn't pour into you. Your boss doesn't, say, hey, great job. Proud of you. You do an amazing job. But your boss says, hey, I don't like what your numbers are doing. Tighten up. Or yesterday, you came back 5 seconds late from lunch. I'm going to write you up. Or you supposed to start at 7 o'clock, but you got here at 6 and sat out in your car. You can't do that. Next time you do it, I'm going to write you up. Or just nitpick at every little thing that you're doing wrong. It never, ever really gives you compliments or say anything good about you. After a while, you're gonna be like, yo, this is not for me. This is not for me. If you at work, because at the end of the day, you should feel like your boss is supposed to protect you at work. Like if that's the top dog at your job, at that particular site, that person is supposed to protect you while you're at work. That's their responsibility. That they're a leader. That's what they signed up for. So let's say somebody walked in with a gun. I hate to use that one, but I'm trying to get your attention. Let's say somebody walked into the building with a gun. Your boss's office is up front in the building, in the front of the building. So your boss sees that person walks in the building with a gun. What should your boss do? A, call the police. B, try to stop that person from coming in. C, call security. Or D, say nothing. Just let it happen. Like, how would you view your boss if that happened and somebody got hurt in that situation, or numerous people got hurt in that situation. Can you work for that man after that? Can you view him as good people after that? I know I can. Should he get a promotion in praise after he saw danger come through the door, said nothing, and people got hurt? Should he remain your boss? I'm sure you would want him to get fired. Like not next week, but today, right? With that being said, what's the difference? What's the difference with what Mr. Trump is doing right now? Oh man, it'll just go away. It'll go away soon. 150,000 people have died. Oh, if you look at the ratio, that's not a lot of people. Listen, if that's one of your family members, I promise you wouldn't say that. I'll put it to you a different way. If somebody came and said, hey, I'm going to give you $150,000, you would be like, oh my goodness, 150,000? That's a huge amount of money. So why is it not huge when people are dying from a virus that we could have definitely handled better? Can we at least agree on that? Can we at least agree on that? Mr. Trump is a bully. He's the biggest bully I've ever seen in my lifetime. He's bigger than the Gooch. He's bigger than Leona Gordon. He's bigger than Show Enough. Matter of fact, Mr. Trump is a Show Enough bully. Show Enough. And just like Show Enough, he has to have a group of flunkies around him saying, hey, you are the man, Show Enough. And every time Mr. Trump hits the mic, he pulls a Show Enough move. Who's the master? And all his trumpeteers say, Show Enough. You, Mr. Trump. You the man. You're doing an amazing job. You're doing a bang up job. Yeah, he's doing a bang up job. Beat up job. And I'm not here to bash him. But I think enough is enough. It's hard for me to follow or respect somebody who promotes division and hate. And that's not just because I'm black and the hate's pointed towards me and my brown brothers and sisters. That's not even the main reason. I just don't like people who promote hate and division. I don't even like math because it divides. Hello. I just don't like it. And then on top of that, you're sacrificing people for your gain. I can't rock with that. How? Like, even listen, man, seriously, even if you are racist, white supremacist, or any type of supremacist out there, whatever it is, do you have like no empathy for the people that have caught coronavirus and have gotten sick, and 150,000 who died? Like, that don't phase you at all? Like you that cold to human life? You that cold to human life? Now I get it. Like, most of the people that passed were of color, but it's a lot of people that passed that were from the Caucasus Mountains. Your brothers and sisters. So it affected everybody. It's affecting everybody, not just people with melanin in their skin. But either way, that doesn't touch your heart at all. Like, I know like different news channels, because I watch all of them just to see what people are saying. Like, it's just to hear the point of view from different angles. Like, you got one station that says it one way and another station that take the same thing that the other station said and turn it completely different ways. So it's like everybody has their own agenda that they're pushing. And I get that. That's the news. That's what the news does. It always has been. But at the end of the day, 150 people has passed due to this virus. So at what point do we think about them, their families? Out of all the things Mr. Trump has done while he was in office, we're not even going to talk about before he was in office, because that's a whole nother combo, long combo. But since he's been in office, all the scandals that he's been involved in, let's just start there. And that this is the reason I'm calling him a bully and a con artist. All right, this is just these are my reasons. I'm gonna give you 10 reasons. The Russian scandal, like from day one, you came in a little shady, right? If I started a job and people feel like I came in shady, like I knew somebody and that's how I got in, guess what? I'm going to show them why these folks hired me. I'm going to show out. I'm going to do numbers. Whatever the job is, I'm going to show you why I'm good at what I do. Right? That's scandal number one. Number two, the Moscow Trump Tower scandal. The Trump Foundation scandal, the Trump University scandal, the porn star scandal, the sexual harassment scandal, the Trump immigration scandal, the Trump Ukraine scandal. And if none of that faze you, none of those 8 that I just said faze you, this one here should definitely faze you, because it touches everybody. Trump's inaction on COVID-19 has cost many American lives and will continue to cost many American lives. Oh, wearing masks is a scandal. Listen. They say seatbelts don't guarantee you from dying in a car accident, but it helps. They say condoms are not 100% safe, but it helps. And so the mask thing, Like the science show that when you wear a mask, it helps if you have it, not give it to somebody. Or if you don't have it, not receive it from somebody. So masks to me are choosing life for you and other people. That's what masks mean to me. So when I see people that don't wear masks, I think that's showing a little selfishness in my eyes, because it's not hard to do. It's not like, it's something that you have to go out your way to do. You put it around your ear and then let it cover your mouth and then put it around the other ear while you're in the store or while you're around people. I don't understand how that's hard. But I realize that it's not hard. It's the principle behind it. Bullies don't like being told what to do. And again, once they get something in their mind, you can't change it. Even if it's the truth. Even if it's the truth. I wear masks for me. I wear masks for others. When I say others, I don't mean other people that just like, not other people that look like me or think like me, just other people, period. Like I would be sick if I found out I gave somebody coronavirus or any other virus. I would be sick. Because I care, see? When you give that much energy to go against the grain of helping other humans, like even if you don't believe in it, but science says that this helps cut down the spreading of the virus, why wouldn't you wear it? Well, my president said, really? It baffles me because this man has told so many lies. I mean, like he'll say something on a Monday, they turn around on Tuesday, get on a show, and they'll bring it up, and he'll be like, I didn't say that. Then they'll play it that he said it, and he'll still try to refute it. If your husband or your wife said something to you yesterday and you brought it back up the next day and they said to you, I didn't say that, you would go ballistic on them. It's like this man gets so many passes. So many passes. We know better, America, for real. Let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it what it is. Because before Mr. Trump took office, there was a brother in there by the name of Barack Hussein Obama. Right? This brother couldn't break wind without people trying to throw him out of the White House. He couldn't do nothing wrong. Well, in a lot of people's case, he couldn't do nothing right. But yet this guy has done everything under the sun in the White House. And people still love him, support him, will fight you over him. And I do understand, actually. I really do understand. And I hate that it's like that. I really do. But I'm in a good place because Like, this past 2 months has shown me that we ain't out here by ourselves. We not out here by ourselves. In those protests, man, I love to see a sea of just thousands and thousands of people that represent America. It ain't just black. It ain't just Hispanic. It's not just Indian. It's not just white. It's everybody. And I love that. And it seems like people are more upset because it's not just black people marching for black folks. Black Lives Matter. It's not just black people marching. And I think that's what burns the most for a lot of people. Now, I'm not going to debate you on the all lives matter versus Black Lives Matter. I think we are like my throat is dry. I'm done trying to convince people what the difference is. Whatever. We passed that. I respect the seat of the presidency, but it's hard for me to respect the person that's in the position right now, because he does so many things that only supports either him or people that look like him. And I don't think he even cares about people that look like him. I just think it's about his agenda, period. And it's just, he knows how to play the people that look like him. People say that, Trump is not that bright. I don't think that's the case. I think he's a very bright man. Now, he may not be able to use big words, but he's bright in his own way. Like, he's a master manipulator. You got to get that to him, man. You got to give it to him. I pay attention. My mind pays attention to the little things, little details, right? When I see it. If you look at Trump rallies, it might be 1 million white people there, right? And it might be 5 black people there. But those black people got VIP seats and they're right behind Trump. That's not by mistake. That is very intentional. And so it's little stuff like that that makes me realize that this man is not dumb at all. He knows how to play the game. I was dating this young lady back in the day. I was much younger then. And I cheated on her, right? And I knew she knew it. Like, she had me like dead to rights. But I kept saying, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Hey, I didn't do that. I didn't do. And after a while, it seemed like she started to believe me, even though she knew that I did. And so, constant denial, or making something big small constantly, about 98% of the time, people will start to believe that what was once big is not that big anymore. If you constantly selling that, you know what I mean? That's what con artists do. They con you and believe in what they believe. And it seems like that's what this brother does best. for a certain person who's looking to be conned. You know what I mean? Like who's looking like it's like he connects with people who think like that. And they're not necessarily bad people. But some people just were raised like that. Some people just, so whatever, like TV. I mean, we already know TV has made the black and brown brothers and sisters look a certain way. And it's just unfair, man. So we just got to do something to change this, when you're driving down the road and the road gets dangerous, especially up north when they got like, snow and stuff like that, and the road gets dangerous, they got signs up that's saying, hey, this is a dangerous road. Be cautious. Caution. This is a dangerous road. Caution. Black ice. Caution. Flooding. Caution. Whatever it is. And they give you these signs. And when it gets too bad, they give you a detour. Hey, you know what? You got to go this way. It might take you out the way a little bit, but at least you're safe. It's time to detour, family. Like I heard Brother Biden tonight on the Joy Reid show. Shout out to Joy Reid for his show. It was a great show. And it's about time. And he sounds sharp. He sounds presidential. What's presidential? He sounds human. I miss that. Compassion, understanding, leadership. I miss that. No disrespect to the Trump supporters. I'm just saying I miss that. I don't really see much of that no more. Now, you may. I don't know. I like Joe Biden. Do I think he's great? Nah. I think I like him. I don't know him enough to really, but we'll find that out in the next couple months. But sometimes we have to take a detour to get to where we need to be. Joe Biden is our detour. It's time to turn this thing around, family. How do we do that? November, we vote. We vote. We vote. No matter what excuses they give us, no matter what detours they try to put in our face. We have to be Emmitt Smiths in November. Emmitt Smith is one of the greatest running backs of all time in the NFL. He had the innate ability. No, we have to be Barry Sanders. Let's go even deeper. We got to be Barry Sanders. That's the greatest running back of all time in my eyes. No matter what they put in front of us, we got to get around it and we got to vote. Because there's going to be some games played come November. Promise you that. But when you get frustrated about the games that are being played, about the blocks that they're going to lay in front of us, I want you to think about all of the people that sacrificed their lives so that everybody can vote. I want you to think about the 150,000. It's going to be way more than that by then. But I want you to think about the 150,000 that have died so far from coronavirus unnecessarily. Vote, vote, vote. Listen, I appreciate y'all listening, man. I know this wasn't like super jovial, but right now, man, we in some serious times and it's time to get serious. Thank y'all for listening to Crazy Stupid Faith Podcast. And I'm your boy, Courtney Weller. And I will see you on the next one. Peace to the people. Love y'all.